Hey everybody, what's going on? Hey. So our last demo for this block. I'm really looking forward to it. It's what we're going to be doing is sort of beta testing the body animation for this Jeeves shot, and it's just to remind ourselves, like this was a line that was taken from the movie The Life of Brian, and it's always been like one of my sort of ambitions, like to almost get, well, it's not really an ambition. I mean, I've always wanted to animate to John Cleese's voice, and this was sort of like the most I don't know, dynamic line of dialogue that I could find offhand. Right? So I basically, last week we did our 2D rough pass, sort of designing the action, and I said I would start to put in like the golden poses. And really, what I've done is I've gone in and done the golden poses, and then just sort of like looked at the 2D ref over here, and went in and started to work on that. Let me turn off the sound first, just because you don't really need it yet. So turn off. Okay, so if I just kind of scrub through here, I'll click on. So like X is where like the golden poses are, storytelling poses, and I just sort of looked at where like I had some of the breakdowns, right? But I didn't do those first. Like I just did the golden poses, like this one, and then I went ahead and did this one, and then this one, and this one, because these are sort of like the golden poses, right? The ones that if I was storyboarding it, I would put them in, right? And sometimes like you'll kind of go, okay, well, these are just the poses that I want the audience to see. And I'll spend a lot of time in them just trying to get the right feeling, right? And although I don't have like a look at, you know, for the eyes, and I don't have facial, but I still want to try and get the right sort of feeling through the arms and the body gestures. And even with the whistle, thank you very much to Larry Vasquez for doing a quick model for me. And so like just going through, like just trying to find like those poses. So like again, right here, you know, that sort of pose, trying to get what I was doing here, but trying to make it like a little bit more cleaned up, you know, sort of a little bit more silhouette on the hand with the whistle, a little bit more worked out with the arms and like the body, you know, because it was kind of sketchy. But at least I had my blueprint, you know, so I wanted to try and get that emphasis of the character, you know, in CG, you know, because if I didn't have this 2D stuff and I was just doing it off the top of my head, it wouldn't be as pushed, you know. So either one, shoot live action reference, two, you know, do 2D ref, or a combination of both. Like for this one, because it is sort of cartoony, I didn't do a live action pass. But what I will be doing, like once I get the facial, I will try and do like a facial pass live action, and just so I can see where the mouth is going, and where the eyes, and where there's a natural blink, you know, and where the eye darts are going to be. So getting that speed right down to the frame, right? So like just trying to find like those poses, right? So boom, right in here. So bang, right, that one, and the anticipation, and then boom, this one, and then the so this is like the overshoot and then back down, right? And I don't have the look at yet, so I can't do that. And then I did this one, right? And then I did a couple of breakdowns in here. So just literally following the exact timing of the 2D rep, but just trying to solidify it somehow. All right, and then getting this one, and then the outstretched arms, and then this one I changed because I wasn't really happy with what I had decided on last week. So because I feel like it kind of ended on somewhat of an anticlimax, you know. So I felt like he should be sort of like just kind of out looking because you know, we don't know the context of this. We know the context in the real movie, but we don't know the context here. So I felt like we should end it on like a much stronger pose rather than something that's a little bit more resolved here, you know. So I felt like he should be kind of more leaning out. So boom, out to there, right? So let's hear it with the audio, and then we can start to break it down. All right. So for this, like, because there's no facial on here, it's pretty much real time. So I could just hit play, really, you know. So let's have a look.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah.
All right,
Now
good.
look, no
So
one.
like yeah, so like I say, I like this ending a lot better because he feels like he's ending on a high note, like and more intense and more off guard, you know, rather than or more on guard, I should say, you know, just like a little bit more aggressive, you know, rather than resolved and more, you know, settled in the pose like this 2D drawing, right? So anyway, so that's all basically in step mode. So let's go ahead and we'll switch it all back to auto spline. So select all, graph editor, and auto spline. Okay. So we'll start breaking it down, right? So in here, like all this, oh, okay, so not everything got switched over. Okay, let's select body. Okay, make sure everything's on there. Okay, and then graph editor. Everything. Okay, there we go. So like there's a lot of stuff that's flipping around and everything in here, but I feel like I need to get like some breakdowns in here first before I can start to fix like some of the gimbal lock. I mean, I could easily just go in here and go, all right, you know, curves, Euler filter, and it may fix some things, but I have no idea if that's even going to fix it because there's not enough information for the computer to even know like how far things are going to be rotating. So I need to start breaking this thing down before I really get into any sort of gimbal lock fixing, right? So we'll just keep an eye on that stuff, you know. So in here, coming from there all the way over to there. Okay, so like if I was going to break this down, I mean it's okay like to have like a favor on that, but that feels like it's too much of a favor. It feels like it's just going to pop, and I feel like we should be caught during action in here. So I'm going to fix this, like lead with the head, like so. Like if I'm just going to flip through here, I'm going to start leading with the head right here. Okay, the hand feels okay, and the body feels okay. But I feel like it was just maybe the head that needed to have like a little bit more of a transition, right? So going from there over to there, okay. That feels okay. Nothing wrong there. Okay, and then we're not going to like completely start turning around here. I'll need to favor this pose, right? So I need the audience to see this little pause before we start going into this, right? So I want to copy this pose and set up the window of time, right? That window of time that I want the audience to see. And I'm asking myself constantly, okay, how much time do I need to transition from this into that and into this, right? So like in here, I've got like 3 frames. So let's do that. Let's kind of do a guesstimate and say, okay, let's copy this pose. And I'm going to copy it right over to there to 10. Right? So we pause there for 6 frames. Boom, right? And then we'll go ahead and we'll just let that rest a little bit. So like it's not going to just like come and stop, right? I'm going to come down and just like cushion it a little bit. So it's going to go a little bit beyond that. And whenever I'm doing like some sort of a moving hole like this, I just want to try to rotate everything slightly more in the direction that I came into that pose, right? So like if I'm coming down, maybe I'll rotate down a little bit more, right? Because that's basically the way that came into the pose, right? And that shoulder's coming up, right? The head is turning around a little bit, right? And it's already starting to animate, right? You can kind of feel like where everything's going, right? And then we can maybe even just translate this, translate the actual body down a little bit here. So it squishes a little bit right there. And then for the whole body in here, let's bring it back a little bit. Okay, so it goes boom, and then bring it back here. Okay, and then for this arm, I feel like that's okay. It feels like it's coming back that way. Maybe we'll bring it down a little bit. Maybe bend the elbow a touch. For this arm, let's bring that up a bit. and through there, right? So imagine like, okay, so the head is going to hit in there, and like the eye will be looking back this way, like once I get the actual look at, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do a select body, just make sure I save keys on here. Okay. And then we're going to have this very, very fast transition from there into that, right? So how the heck am I going to do that? How am I going to get from that pose into that pose? I mean, let's just see what the computer actually gives us, and then see what kind of transition we can actually put into it, right? So, because, I mean, a lot of these are going to be nice and cartoony, so you want to be able to play with how you're getting graphically from pose to pose, right? So you kind of throw a little bit of realism and naturalistic kind of animation a little bit out the window, right? Because what you're trying to do now is try to get some nice transition time without like making it feel too realistic, right? So if I'm looking at the mass, like this mass right here, and this mass right here, and what I want to try to do is get into that a little bit more, right? And seeing like how it's going to squash right here and then come into that. So I want to try to set that up, right? So like if I'm coming from here, I don't want to be constricted by where the shoulders are here. Maybe I'll start to bring this back, right? So we get from here a little bit more squashed, so we can start coming down and set up for that nice arc right here. And that's sort of like where we're going, right, with it. So we want to try to get like that to feel like it's coming around, right? Okay, have a look at the overall mass right here. We can start to bring that down a little bit too. Okay. And even leading down with the head. Okay, trying to set that up. Actually, maybe we'll drag the head a little bit here. So it feels like it's coming from this area. And then we'll get like a nice breakdown on 12 to get us into that, right? Okay, let's check out the arm from the other side, because I know that's probably a bit messed up. So let's do a select body, so the key there. All right, so from here, I feel like we don't want to overlap it right there. I feel like we want to try to bring it up, you know, in and around this area, you know, so kind of leading with the elbow. So we can maybe drag that, maybe drag the hand. So I'm looking right here, because it's going to start to come up and around. All right, good. All right, and then let's go ahead and get the next frame. So like in here, so like when you're talking cartoony animation, you do want to control like those frames. Like don't be afraid to get in on ones and really try to hit everything, right? Because like I find like a lot of people say, you have to animate on ones? Why would you do that? Like as if like it's actually tiring to do. And it really isn't. Like for me, it's actually kind of fun, because you can really get to control exactly how your characters are moving, like on every single frame. And that's sort of like the control, right? That you like to have. Like in 2D, like even if this was in 2D, I probably would have made this drawing, because it's not like an exact in-between. I can't just leave that up for interpretation. Okay, so leading with the elbow here. Here, start leading with the elbow. Maybe we'll bring that shoulder up a bit. So again, I'm looking at the graphic masses where it's coming forward and around, right? Trying to find like that fluid way of getting from pose to pose. Start leading up with the elbow. Maybe we can drag this hand a bit. Okay, have a look through there. Okay, and here, like maybe we can let this follow through just a little bit more. So like maybe we can get it to lean in this way and then come up. So we get a little bit of an arc in the transition here, right? But I want to just continue this, right? So like this arm is not just going to go from here down, like it's going to like flip around, right? So you get like, you know, this sort of thing, you know, where it really flips. Okay, so through here, frame 14. Let's do a select body, set a key, see what the computer actually gives us, which is not horrible. Like it's sort of like giving me like a nice broad in between to go from, you know. So like let's flip this up. Okay, start to bring it down. So we get like this flip of the elbow. Maybe that's maybe a tiny bit too much. Okay. Okay, that's fun. All right, bring this in. Whoops. Okay, so coming through there, following the arc, right? And then next frame is going to, you know, get the flip of the fingers, right? All right, and then we get this other hand. We'll start to bring this one down already, just so it doesn't feel exactly the same as the other hand. So we'll have this one be a little less broad than the other one, or at least like a different arc, really, you know. Okay, so coming from here, like seeing that the path of the head right here. Okay, so in this one, let's keep that spacing going. So let's start to bring this head up and around, right? Because it's going to be in this pose for quite a while. Well, I mean, quite a while, 12 frames, right? Which is like half a second, right? So, but I mean, it's going to hit that pose and then he's going to do a next pose, like the next part, right? Okay, and then the body. Oops. That's okay. We'll just start to bring it over a tiny bit. Maybe get it a little bit more squished down here. Okay, a little bit more stretched right there. Okay, good. So we're really trying to layer on the elasticity, the fluidity, right? Okay, let's do a select body here. Set a key. Okay, now let's keep this nice and designed so like this hand will be straight down. And on this, like I have been cheating the elbow because it is very, very cartoony. So I have been sort of breaking the limbs, right? Because you really do want to try to get some nice fluid shapes in here. Okay, let me hide my camera here. Okay, and we'll curl the opposite way. So I go this way, do a thumb curl too. So even here, I'm going to start to splay out a little bit. And he's got the whistle in this hand, right? But I don't want to make too much of an attention to it. Okay, we'll go a little bit more straight here. Okay, bring this head up. So it's getting up into that. And then we want to like go past this, right? So I don't want to just stop there, right? I want to go beyond that. Okay, so let's go ahead. And how long do I want to be in this for? Like, again, window of time before I go into this. And very quick, like I want maybe like 2-frame transition into this pose, right? So I'm going to copy that pose and save it at 26. Okay, so this will be like the stretch, the up part. Okay, and then it's going to come down to that. So I'm going to go beyond this a little bit more, right? So let's grab like the body, go a little bit beyond, and then we can come back down to this, right? So a little bit beyond, even the head, and then allow it to come back down. Okay, and the shoulders, maybe go a bit beyond, and then let it come back up. See if we can force in a little bit of opposing action there, right? And he's all tense, right? Because he's yelling, right? So I want to try to keep like the motion here, not super duper fluid on the arms, just like a little bit more of like almost a stagger, right? So like hitting the pose and then coming back out. But I don't want it just to be a held pose, right? So I want to be able to try to get that arm to go back and then come back out like here. Okay. Body-wise, like whoop, maybe get a little bit higher and then come back down to that. Okay, so let's just concentrate on this little section right here.
Now look! Now look! Now look! Now look!
Okay, cool. So in here, I am going to try to get a little bit more of that lead thing that I really wanted to get originally, instead of like dragging the head. So we'll get like this, this turn of the head here. Okay, that's going to be a nice dynamic pose. And come up to here and then settle back down. Okay. And then for this, I'm going to add just one more frame of this, so we really get to see like that nice wipe right here. Like I don't mind this one, but let's try it like slow this arm down a bit, just so we get that little bit of overlapping actions happening. Right, so let's add one more frame there. So select body. I'm going to set a key on 18 for the whole thing. So now I'm trying to add in just a little bit of extra fluidity just with this arm. So we'll get to see this hand swoop and sort of wipe the frame a little bit, right? Okay, and the same thing with the fingers. So I'm going to copy that from there to there. Okay. Okay, and then see if we can get that to even go a little bit further here. Just so we get things pushed just a bit further. Okay, and then the other arm, have that come back. Okay, and then start to come down. So we're still hitting that pose and then start to come back down into this pose. Okay. Okay.
Now look! Now look! Now look!
Okay. Now we've got to get that. See, like we have like this sort of almost like slow part between here and here. Now we've got to get that to be a little bit more tense. So this will be sort of like on the way down to this pose. So I'm going to copy this one now to 24. Okay, now just get a little bit more of that. So we get the little shake. Okay, and I'm going to copy that back. So that one's now going to be 20. So it's going to hit to there. And then we're going to stay in this pose. Like we're going to try to get like just a tiniest little bit of a moving hold here. Okay, so bring the arm just slightly out, just to give it that, so it's not a complete photograph. Back up a touch. Okay, now let's see if we can just add in a little bit of shake in here, just enough right to give it just to give it a little bit more juice. Okay, and then he's gonna like go into that pose. Okay. Okay, so we have this pose, and this pose is gonna be in there for quite a bit, right?
No one!
Right? No one!
No one!
Okay, we're gonna keep that pose.
No one!
Okay, and then how far, I mean, this one's gonna be fairly fast too. So let's copy this pose on there for until 57. Keep that nice and snappy. Just so we have it, right?
Now look! No one!
Okay.
Now look! No one! 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 Now look! No one!
Okay, good. All right.
No one!
Okay.
No
All right, so we want to get no one, like to hit like that accent right there. Okay. So it's starting from there, and we're getting like this nice little antic right here, and then we need to work out the next pose, like so that we can figure out what kind of an arc we're going to make into this. But it's basically the same pose, right? But we're just trying to figure out like, okay, how far can we push this? Right, so, but without making it into a new pose, right? So we want to try to get that that extension. So like exactly how we came into the pose, we're just going a little bit further, right? Drop these guys down, bring them in a bit. Same thing over here. Drop it down, bring it in a bit, because that's the way that they're going, right? I do feel like we probably just want to get like a little bit more of a straight out of these wrists coming down this way. And we'll try to bring that in right here. So it'll be part of that. It'll be part of that breakdown to get that in there. Okay, bring it up a little bit further. Okay, select all, set a key over here. Okay, now let's start to work on the transition. So like in here, let's get a little bit of drag happening. Again, I'm going in on ones, right? Because I do want this to be nice and a nice kind of broad transition. So it's not just going to be an exact in between. Okay, bring this down a bit. We can start to bring up the arms, or at least the shoulders, you know. Okay, start to bring this up. Okay, and we'll hit into that pose, that's good. And then we'll, out of this, like we'll try to get this to be a little bit broader on the way down, right? Okay, I'll hit this shoulder down a bit. Okay, same thing over here. So for coming up to that, let's just drag it just a bit more. And then on the way down, bring it back the other way. Okay, let's push this a little bit further. Select body, set a key. Okay, boom. So hit right there. Okay, and then we can maybe try to get a little bit more of interest, like by turning the head just slightly, so we get a little bit more of an angle change just in the breakdowns. So it comes slightly more towards us. Get a little bit of tilt at the head. Hit it, right? So it comes nice and high right there. And then it hits this pose. And then this will be sort of like the settle, right? So it's almost like we want to try and get like a little bit of a breath or something in here to keep this pose alive. Okay, so in here, if we have a look at the breath, maybe we can get a little bit more of a breathing kind of thing, you know, so like coming through here. I don't want to make this super fluid, right? So it's going to be difficult, like just to try and keep it nice and tight, but without it feeling like it's like just super fluid, right? I want this to be fairly tight. So like nice big breath in, keep it there. Really try and make it purposeful. Okay. So slow into the breath and then fast out, right? So I'll hold on that. See, like to 50. Okay. So keep that breathing in ever so slowly, just trying to get that. Keep it, keep the pose, and then breathe out, and then we'll get right into the next pose. Okay. And this one's gonna be there, and then we're gonna have like a nice fast transition here too, right? So let's copy this pose. So imagine like 2-frame transition between that to that. Okay, so let's copy it to 71. And then we can see where we're at, right? So this one's gonna be there for quite a bit too before we start getting into that. So let's copy that. I'll copy it to 99, okay? So we'll just see like those poses skim through, right?
Now look, no one is to stone anyone.
Okay.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone. 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 Now look, no one is to stone anyone.
Good. All right. Good. So I mean, it's getting there. So like we're starting to flesh it out. So we get like these little transitions that are happening. You know, we got the little breath in there. And coming out of that, let's see if we can get just a nice little transition on the head right here to give it a little bit more juice. And when I say juice, I just talk about like a little bit more sophistication rather than just a straight in between, right? So maybe just we'll keep it favoring right here. Maybe just tilting down with the side of the head. Just sort of painting like a nice arc with the nose right here. Okay, and then it's going to go beyond that, right? Okay, so we can't just stop right there, right? So let's continue that a little bit further this way, so it doesn't just come to a complete stop. Okay, let's select body, set a key. And even with the body right here, let's see if we can just kind of push that just a bit further. So it's coming through here. And it's going to come back up into that, okay? So maybe just back off a little bit here in this rotation, just so it has a little bit of follow through. Okay, let's do a select body, keys on ones, okay. So even here, like with the head, let's see if we can kind of bring it down just a bit more, just so like, I'm not always translating the head. Like, I mean, a lot of people like say, well, your bones don't do that in the neck, you know, but like, it's kind of fun because it gives you that nice compression feel compression extension, you know. So like I feel like that, I think it's definitely worth doing because it does give it a little bit more flexibility to the spine rather than keeping it completely stiff. Right through here, maybe push the chest down a bit more. Gotta come up. Okay, keep it going. Okay, let that rotate up a bit more. Keep that arc, right? Okay, with the hands, let's just see what that was doing.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone.
Yeah, I don't mind that little flip in there. That's kind of nice, you know. But let's see if we can make it a little bit more purposeful. So like in here, maybe just start to raise this hand and arm up a little bit more. And then again here, so it's almost like he's using this arm like as a little bit of a motivation tool, like to get him to turn around, right? So let's try and push this a little bit further. Okay, and then comes back in there. Just a little follow through that way. Okay, and the same thing sort of over here. Let's see if we can just kind of get this to feel like it was a little bit more purposeful. Okay, and there's a little micro action here. So let's see if we can get that to hit just a little bit further. Is to, right? So we'll hit that a little bit further there. So the body can have it a little bit more to keep it connected. Is to. Okay, now let's select body, copy that to there. And then it's going to come back down into this, which would be nice, a nice fast transition. Okay.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone.
Okay.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone.
Okay, I feel like that transition can be a little faster. So let's go ahead and put this on ones, this on twos. Okay. Now let's see if we can add just a little bit of extra. So let's see if we can get a little bit of like turn right there. Bring it back a little bit. Keep it. I'm going to try and keep it fairly tight, you know, just so it doesn't feel loosey-goosey like in this little area. Okay, and then this little transition here, we'll keep that tight too. So go key on 70, 68 to 70. And then we get that little bit of a anticipation here of the head going this way. We'll keep it connected, like so the body will have a little turn too, tiny bit. And it'll start to get into that, right? Okay, and again, like I want to control every frame, right? So let's see what we can do to add a little bit more fluidity through here, right? So if I'm looking through here and seeing like where it's going, like, and right now it feels like it's just going straight down. But let's see if we can bring it a little bit wider, get a little bit wider of an arc so it comes around rather than just straight down. Okay, And then through here, let's squish this down a bit. And I've turned on volume compensation here, just so he gets a little fatter, right through there. Okay, here, it's a little bit fatter. Just get like that rounder arc happening. Okay, and then through here, select body, set a key. Okay, looking at the chest. Okay, up it goes. All right, so I feel like anyone, like, so this is be the high point, and then it's going to exhale right here. So let's see if we can get that next breath in there. Okay, so select body, and we'll key there at 88. So we'll feel there, and then we'll get the breath happening. Okay, a little bit more going through the head. Again, just sort of like the general direction that it came into the pose. We'll keep that going. So it keeps it alive. So coming through there, let it rotate Z. Okay, I'm going to save. So I'm going to call this B1, breakdowns 1. Okay. Okay, keep going. Okay, and now it's going to come down right to the next pose. Okay, let's play that.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone.
Okay, so that breath, like, it's not quite working yet because I just kind of went straight into it and straight out of it. So let's just try and get that to connect a little bit more. Okay, so like in here, I feel like we probably want to get into that a little bit faster. Okay, anyone? Okay, we'll hold on that. Select body. Okay, so 88, zoom back to there. I'm going to delete 80. So it comes up into that a little bit faster with a little bit of the breath. Okay, and then we have got to go a bit beyond there. Okay, shoulders up a little bit more, or the breath. Let's try the breath. Okay, so it's coming up into this. Okay, body-wise, let's bring him up a little bit further. No, not just to keep it alive, you know. Okay, keep them in there. Okay, and then coming out of it will favor like the high point, right? So I'm going to copy 89 to 92. Okay, so it's favoring up to that, right? And then we're just going to start to transition down into that next pose. Okay. then we start to get into this breath out, and then start to bring it up into this whistle pose, right? Okay, let's play that.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until... Now look, no one is to stone anyone until... Now look, no one is to stone anyone until...
Okay, I'm gonna just try and make that a little snappier, so like he basically holds this pose just for a little longer. So bring that a little bit further over here. So it's a little bit faster of a transition out of that. So bring that a little closer to there. Okay, and then from this, let's drag the head a little bit more. So it feels like the exhale is starting to get into the next section of the posing. Okay. All right, good. All right, now, so through here, that's okay. This part right here, this doesn't quite feel right. So let's have a look and see. There's probably a little bit of gimbal lock, and so it will have a look there. So I'm going to delete that pose and then just hit gimbal. And it may not be, like it might just be just the way I've actually started to rotate the elbow. So I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to start to bring this out this way, right? And then this one, we'll get a little bit more drag happening here. Start to bring it forward. And the body, I'm just kind of looking at the spacing here. So it feels like we're kind of dropping the shoulders. We'll keep them dropped so they don't come straight back up yet. So keep them dropped there. And then they can start to come back up in here. But let's drop them down there, because it feels like we're still trying to come up into that pose. Okay, good. Okay, right here, rotate the head. Again, just trying to find like a nice fluid way of getting like some nice arc action in through here. What arm is leading what, you know, through here. Let's start there. We can start to bring this arm up a little bit further. Maybe bends the elbow back. So again, just sort of breaking it here. And here, I'm going to start to bend it still. Keep it bent. I feel like it actually, no, I think it actually wants to come nice and wide. That's sort of what I'm indicating right there. So we'll keep that idea. So in here, we'll go around. Start to bring it up this way. Get a drag in the hand. Okay, and here, I did want to start to lead with the finger. But let's just see if I can get just a little bit more of a transition in there. Or maybe here, we start to bring it in. Because it does feel like it wants to lead. Okay, and then here, that feels like it's kind of getting a little bit stuck there. So I'm going to try to bring that through. Here a little bit broader. This one, I'm just going to back it off a bit. Yeah, okay. and then seeing where we're at, like with the head and the body, right? So it feels like it sort of wants to go a little bit lower here because you can feel the body coming down and then just starts to come straight back up. So let's just grab like the body here, tilt it down so like it finishes that arc on the bottom. Okay, and then starts to come back up. Here, keep it down, get a little bit more fluidity there, and then bring it back up here. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's do a snake body here. Save the keys. Let's save a key here too. So just trying to find, like, see the arc on this hand. So bringing it high and then bringing it low through there. Okay, so we want to try and go a little higher here. And then start to swoop it in. Really just trying to get that nice graphic arc happening, like with the finger really leading through. Up into that. Okay, let's have a look, see how that feels.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone. And now look, no one is to stone anyone. And now look, no one is to stone anyone. And now look, no one is to stone anyone. And now look, no one is to stone anyone. And now look, no one.
Okay, so it's just the breathing for me. I want to try and make that a little bit snappier because right now I can really feel it, you know, coming through here to here. So I feel like we just want to get a little bit more in on the breakdown in here. So just making it a little bit snappier coming up into that. A little bit lower here. A little lower. Just so it like it feels like it's still part of it. Right here. Just keep it up there. And then it brings down right there. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, it's going to be stuck in this pose for a little bit because he's doing some dialogue, right? And there's nice accents in here that we really need to hit, right? So let's concentrate on that little section.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone.
Okay, so I feel like we do need like a little bit more action in the head. Like just through the anyone. Okay, so let's see if we can get a little bit more through here to get that little transition happening. Okay, a little bit more here. Okay, and then anyone. So a little bit more wilder here. Anyone. Okay, one. little bit higher here, maybe. What I'm trying to find is like that little bit of a down accent here for one. Okay, right here. One. One. Follow through. And come back up.
Until I stone anyone.
Any. A little bit further forward. One.
Anyone. Until I.
All right, let's see.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow.
Okay, maybe a tiny bit fast, but it's definitely like getting into the right ballpark. So like right in here. So like let's copy a frame here, 82. Any. And then start to come back down right here. Okay, just a little bit fall through there. And then back up.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow.
That's better.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is.
Okay, good. All right, so now I just want to add in, just layer in like a little bit of highs and lows just through the body here, because I feel like it's just getting a little bit static right through here. So just a little bit of rotate right there, just to give us that little bit of motion. And then right here, feels like he went a little bit backwards, so I'm going to bring him down and graphically forward right there. Okay. And then right here, it feels like it just kind of paused, like you can kind of feel like the buttons right there, right? They're just kind of like ever so slightly. Just we need to get a little bit of drift on there, a little bit of ambient motion. Okay, right here, a little bit of rotate. Okay, right here, just a little bit of rotate. So it just feels like it's still kind of following through, just to give it that more full feel rather than static. Okay.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow.
Okay. So like in here. So now we just want to get that this dialogue little section worked out. So in here, let's see if we can get a little bit more arc, just as a little transition coming through here. Okay, a little bit drag right there. Okay. Okay, so coming through there, let's hit like frame 12, like where we get the start of that. Until I blow this whistle. Okay. So again, just sort of like letting everything follow through just a little bit further. Okay, just trying to get everything just to start to get into that pose, right? Okay. And I feel like this should be like I, and then a little bit of an anticipation, like to get into this, right? So I feel like here, this should be a little bit of a higher head motion. So like there'll be a little compression, right, going on. Like, so we get this, and then we'll maybe get like the shoulders to come up a little bit further. Just as it shows a little bit more tension. Whoops. Go a little bit more this way. And I'm going to get Victor Vignals to weight these shoulders a little bit more to that collar too, so like we can raise these shoulders up and it won't go through the collar. Okay, I blow. Okay, so grab the chest, bring it up a little bit higher. All right, and then in here, let's start to get the transition happening, right? So I'm going to copy 20 to 21, so it's favored, right? So it's in here, and then we'll start to get a little bit of a drop here, and then we'll get the drag on the head coming from that last pose. So it'll kind of follow through a little bit more, and then blow right there. Okay, we'll hit this a little harder. Blow. Blow. Okay, we'll keep it there. And we want this whistle, right, to be nice and hard. And then we'll hit the whistle, like we'll hit that nice and hard, right? So I'm going to do a select body and then go back to, so 135 is where we want to be. So I'm going to hit it like around there, okay? So like what I'm basically doing is I try to get like the hands to be a little bit more compressed, you know, but we'll still get the head to be a little further down. For this whistle, like really point towards it, right? And then we'll anticipate it here. So we'll bring it like a little further out, like for the arm and the head and everything, right? So like this will be a little bit further out this way, and this will be a little bit further out this way. So we'll get this whistle, right? This whistle. Okay, and then here, this will probably start to anticipate a little bit too. So it just comes out into that. And same thing with the whistle arm. We'll get that to come out a little bit further too. And that's got to be nice and fast, right? So I'm going to go ahead and grab 129 and bring that really close to 135. Okay, so it's going to be from here, anticipate, 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 and then punch in. And maybe we can even get a tiny little bit of a head gesture lean towards the whistle, you know, so everything kind of goes towards it like that. Whistle, whistle.
This whistle.
All right, and we'll keep it there, right?
This whistle.
And so we'll use that, this pose. We'll copy that, and then we'll go ahead and make a window of time for that too, right? So it's going to be whistle, whistle. We'll just kind of bring it out a little bit, so like it hits that pose and just overshoots a tiny bit. So that, and then just overshoot a little bit, so it comes out of that pose. Whistle. Okay, a little bit of a down. Okay, let's check that out.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
Okay, so I feel like that's probably just happening a little bit fast. So let's build on that a little bit so that we can really try to get that working, right? So in here, we can get a little bit of drag out of this and a little bit more just fluidity out of like how he's actually pointing at the whistle. So let's see if we can just get that a little bit more fleshed out. Okay, so coming into that, let's push through that pose. So let's go ahead and grab that pose, go beyond it. So the head comes even further down. The arm doesn't just stop there. And bring it up a little bit and in a little bit. And this arm can do the same thing. Go a little bit through that pose. So I'm just going to try and make him just lean forward a little bit more into that. And then it can come back out just ever so slightly, right? Okay, now let's see what's the next pose. Oh, that's where he's starting to look the other way. Okay, that's good. Okay. Okay, so we'll hit that.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
Good. Okay, so like what I'm trying to do now is like, so like after blow, so let's see if we can just go through that pose a little bit more as well. So it doesn't just stop right there. So I feel like we just want to get through that pose a little bit further. So I'm going to key on here. Okay. And let's go a little bit beyond on this. and then come back up. Below. Just come down a little bit further. Okay, and then this is where he'll come forward. Okay. Okay.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look.
Good. Okay.
Whistle. Do you understand?
All right. Now let's see if we can get some transitions in here, right? Because this part feels just a little bit stiff, right? Because it's and right now it's hitting there and it's just stopping, right? So we want to get like that little bit of follow through here, right? Because it can't just stop right there, right? So same thing, like it's the same sort of principle that we've used throughout the first part of the shot. So like once we hit into it, let's follow through a little bit. So a little bit more. So the same direction that we started to get into the pose, let's go a little bit further. Okay. So just a little bit more, rotate there. And then we get this other arm coming the opposite way. Okay, let's see what's the body doing. Just get a little bit of action on there too, just so everything's kept alive. Okay. And then it's going to be a fast transition over to here because that's basically where the eyes are going to look across, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and copy that. Select and key at 59. Okay, so hit that, right? Just to go a little bit beyond, right? So stand. Back up, okay. And then here with this arm, right? Keep that, that's okay. Just a little bit of follow through. A little bit of follow through on this hand too. Just so it's not stuck in space. Okay, the same thing with the body. Okay, good. All right, let's see.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look.
Good. All right, let's save. B2. Okay, let's do a quick play blast just so we can see how it's all coming together. Give me a chance to have a little drink of water. But this is fun. This is it's going nice and quick, you know. I mean, this is sort of like how I would break down like any of these sort of quick action shots, where like you know the transitions have got to be nice and fast and fluid, but like you're trying to design like each and every frame so that the spacing feels nice and snappy. And then like I can't wait to get the facial in there, of course, you know, because that's really going to add a lot to it. And then like once I get the whole thing sort of working on ones, then I can start to you know, push parts or contain parts. Like maybe it's all moving a little bit too much, you know, so maybe might contain a few little areas or add a couple of little tension shakes, you know, so that we can really feel the nervousness of this guy. And then once we get the facial in there, then we can really go to town on his expressions and everything. Man, it's really slow for some reason. Like just doing a play blast. It's way faster just hitting play. Like usually that should be bombing through. Okay.
Now look, no one.
All right, let's grab the actual pose. Let's see, I think it's in, because I know like this has got no compression on it whatsoever. So let's have a look in Jeeves shot. Hopefully it's in here. Movies, there it is. Okay, let's open it with QuickTime Player. And then save. Look, it's 428 megabytes because it's got no compression. Okay, and then let's save it, or export, I should say. With sound. Okay, G poses, that's good. Save. Okay. Let's bring up where to go to. Jeeves play. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand?
Good. All right.
Now look,
I mean, it's all coming together, which is great. You know, I mean, it's obviously it's missing the facial, which will fill in a lot, but I feel like it's all kind of going in the right direction, which is good. All right, so let's keep going. So we're just over halfway through, which is great. Okay, so let's have a look at the next little section here. So we'll keep that there. All right, and then it's going to be nice and fast over to here. So we'll keep them through this little section. This feels a little slow. Let's just kind of get that a little tighter, I feel. So let's put that like at least on 4s, if not on 3s, but let's see. And then between here to here, this should be fairly fast as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on 3s. Okay, question. Let's see. That's a great character and a fun shot. Thanks, Cameron. Cheers. Richard, thank you. Definitely is. All right, sweet. Awesome. So, okay, so let's, so we're going through here to here. I feel like this, I think we could snap this up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these keys, bring them a little closer over to there. Okay. And then from here, I feel like we want to try to get like a little bit more of a broad transition here, because it's like we're going from one side of the screen over to the other. So let's see if we can get his body to start to come down, right? And then we'll drag like the chest up and the head up, right? So we can get a little bit more of a fun drag kind of action here. So it's almost like he's leading with his arm. Okay, let's hit the select body, set a key there. Okay, so starting from there, let's go. We'll rotate there, rotate here. Okay, drag the hands. Okay, so starting to get a little bit of a drag there. That's good. And then drag this arm. Drag this arm. Okay, and then through here, see if we can push this a little bit further and bring this down a little bit further this way. Okay, and then we'll bring this arm so it doesn't quite go off screen. Okay, just kind of looking from this angle here. See, bring him straight down. And then bring him up into that. Okay. So in here, maybe we can just get a little bit more of a scale on this, you know, see if we can figure out something. So not that way. X. Nope, let's do Y. That way. So you get a little bit of a smear frame happening here as it swoops through, right? You know. Okay, and then here, we'll get that to come down this way. Rotate around, so it feels like it starts to get into that arc a little bit more. Okay, really playing that up. Rotate this up a little bit this way. Okay, all right. So set key, set key, set key, set key. Okay, again, I'm just trying to get these guys just to drag it a little bit further, just so it adds to the fun transitions. So a little more drag over there. Okay, and then we get the same thing here. So we'll get a nice transition there, just to continue on, like that nice fluid feel. So bringing this up, rotate it, so it feels like it's really leading with the arm coming up this way. Okay, grab the hand, bring it around, just so it creates this kind of like smeared line going up into this, right? Okay, and then it flips over. Okay, and I've been totally ignoring this hand, but let's see what we can do over here. So it feels like it just sort of like transitions nicely around. So this one. Okay. Okay, and I feel like I want to like, you know, delay this. Like, I mean, obviously, like he's going to be looking forward, and this is almost like a Tony the Tiger or Frosty Flakes kind of anticipation, you know, and a little head shake, like absolutely clear, like a little down here, shake the head, you know, and then come up into the next accent. But I do want to try to keep him up a little bit further before he goes down into that. So a little bit more in this. So like, let's keep that a little bit for later. So I'm going to copy this pose. Give myself like maybe 3 frames over there. Okay, so let him follow through here. Follow through. Okay, follow through here. Okay, let this hand come down, right? Because it's kind of overshoot right there, right? And we want to keep that arc going. So this will be like here. Okay, we'll get this be a little bit more in here. I love the way like the whistle just stays there, you know, until like you flip frames or, you know, because it's it's like the constraints in 2017 for some reason like they don't update live, you know, like you have to actually flip frames, which is so weird. Okay, so we get that.
Even and I want to be this.
Okay, so we want to try and hit into that a little bit sooner, right? So I'm going to grab that, bring that back over to here. Okay, and then I want to try and get into that pose. So like maybe here, maybe come up a little bit sooner. Just kind of work that spacing, right? So it's through here. Okay, and then use that as like sort of like the overshoot, right? So it's going to be up here. And then we'll settle back down into that, right? Okay, again, just sort of like trying to find like those things where we can allow them to settle down a little bit further. Okay, arm comes down. Okay. And we'll get into that. Okay, so let's see.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even and I want to be this. Now look,
Okay.
no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand?
Okay, so looks like over here, I need to like stay on this, like this pose. Stay, 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 and then transition over to there. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy that pose. Because that's going to be like the look over towards screen left. Right, so just get a little transition in there. So a little rotate, we'll translate, just so it's kept alive. Okay. Bring this back a little bit that way. Okay, and then it comes back into the other way. Okay, and then we'll keep that going. Okay, and just start keeping it alive, right? So it doesn't just freeze on us. Okay, a little rotate here. And then we get that transition, okay? Okay, absolutely. All right, so we'll copy this pose. 4 frames there, okay. Or 3 frames, let's see. Oops.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even and I want to make this absolutely clear. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear.
Okay, all right. So let's see. Okay, so this absolutely clear.
I want to make this
Okay, so this has got to be fairly broad, like with the head shakes and stuff, right? So like between here to here. Okay, so let's see if we can go right down the line, like on twos, and we'll see if we can get just the body kind of worked out a little bit more. So it's going to come down, and we'll get like the shoulders coming up. Okay. And then the head is going to go side. Okay, and then go. I'm going to try to do like on threes for the head shake. We'll see if we can just kind of plop it in here, just see if that's sort of like the right timing. It's going to feel a little strange just for the moment, and then we'll get the right feel once we get the body worked out. Okay, so just see. So doing select all. Okay, copy there, and let's just see if that's sort of like the right timing.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear. Now look,
Okay.
no one.
Okay. And I feel like he's coming down maybe a little bit too soon. So let's just keep him up there just for a few more frames. So I'm going to delete out a couple of frames here. So bring him down to around there. Okay. Okay. So let's delete those two. Okay. So coming from here, and then we'll start to get back down into there. Okay. Put a little drag on the head. Okay, and on the body too. Okay, so as it's coming through here, boom, it's gonna like go a little bit beyond, and we'll get a little bit of the body following the head as well, like just so it feels like it's connected. Okay, that's good. And then here, a bit more this way. And then start to come up. Absolutely clear. Okay. Start to come. I'm going to try to bring him a little bit more forward here so that he kind of comes towards us as he's saying that, like a little bit more this way. Okay, a little bit more. Go higher. Okay, so bring the body down. Body down. Okay, and let's see if we can get the absolutely clear, right? Just a little bit of a a wag of the finger too, you know, so like to go along with that, right? So we get this happening where like it feels like it's like they're going opposite to each other. And then see if we can get like a nice transition here. So leading with the arm, because it's absolutely clear, he's making that gesture, right? So again, just sort of breaking the arm, just so I can get that feel. And I mean, the trick is obviously not to make it look like it's breaking, but I'm just trying to get like that fluidity, like so it don't have to be restricted by like the actual anatomy of the character, you know. Okay, so in here, we'll flip up with the finger. Okay, maybe just get this sort of feels like it's rotating. All right, and then we've got to go beyond that, right? So it's got to hit that and then go beyond it. So let's go ahead and select this, copy it to 230. Okay, everything's got to go beyond, right? Okay, even like the overall translate here, and then come back down, right, to this.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then hold on that pose. It's got to be completely held, like very, very little ambient motion on this one. Okay, and then nice fast transition. Okay, so let's go ahead, copy that to there. So just very, very little. This one's almost like you have to kind of forget how to animate, you know, like if you want to try and get the funny, you know, because it's you almost have to just try to keep it nice and isolated so that like so it's just barely kept alive and like kept in this nice expression. And I probably will not do the eye dark because I did it before, like over here, you know. So I probably just want to try and keep that fairly tight. Just have them like with small pupils, like just steering forward. Right? Maybe just have like a little bit of like rest on the finger, you know, that's it. Okay, let's play that.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear.
Good.
Now look.
All right. Let's save. Okay, let's keep going. Looks like we might even get this like roughed in, like just the mechanics. I wasn't expecting to get the whole thing done, but it'd be nice if we can get most of it. That'd be good. Okay, so in here.
Even if they.
Okay, so in here, I feel like this should be a little bit faster too. I feel like this might be just too slow going from here to here over 8 frames. But if we copy this pose backwards. So we keep the strength of this pose, so that he hits that pose and then bursts out of it into that, right? So I feel like if we copy this pose backwards, I feel like we can get maybe a little bit more tension out of it. So it goes from here, right here, and then keeping it in there. So like, so we just go from this, and then we'll maybe go a little bit further down, you know, into it. So like as these guys are coming up, like the head is coming down. Okay, just kind of compressing this pose a little bit more. And I will try to get like a little bit more of a sort of a chaotic shake in there, you know, so that it feels like he's kind of losing it, you know. Okay, so coming from there, and then let's get the body. Rotate it back a little bit this way. So I feel like this one maybe will go a little bit more this way, so that it can compress a little bit more in here, and then pop out into that. So maybe just like a little bit more of a, instead of like just kind of looking at his hands, like it's more like frustration, like a little bit more of the head hands kind of shake into that. Okay. All right, so here, transition wise, let's kind of get this to come around a little bit more. So it swings around into that. I feel like this other part, maybe we'll bring it a little bit more around and then up into that. Okay. And then through here, let's see if we can get just a little bit more chaoticness like through here. So it feels like he's just kind of shaking his hands. Okay, and here, just a little bit more frustration, you know, through here. So just trying to get just something kind of roughed in here where it feels like there's a little bit more chaos rather than just one pose. Okay, and here. Try to get this way. Same thing, I'm just going to try to keep it a little bit more contained in here. mean, I really don't know if this is going to work or not, but it'd be nice to try to get just something a little bit more chaos in here. So let's just, I'll shorten it down to this so we can just really see it.
Even if they do.
Okay, and then keep it there. All right, this feels like we got some gimbal lock happening here, right? So, but it's going from there, and then it's going to swing right around, right? So we want to try to go through this pose, you know, see if we can get that. Okay, so I'm just going to copy through here. Okay, so we want to try and hit that nice and hard. And scrunch them up a little bit more. Scrunch. Okay, get this anticipating down. And pop it up. Okay, drag this hand a little bit more, and up it goes. There. Okay, keep it there. Because we're going to go through that pose. Okay, a little bit higher. Go through it. And get this to come around this way. Okay, up through there. Okay, get the body starting to transition. Okay, now it's going to flip around. Okay, see that.
And I want to make this absolutely clear. Even if they do say.
All right, so let's see if we can fix the gimbal lock that's happening here. Okay. I'm not sure where that decided to want to go, but let's see if we can work it through it. Because it's supposed to be fairly wild right here. Okay, so I'm going to try to bring this one around over this way. Start to get it to anticipate and swing around, right? Get this head to come up and around, and then slam down into this, right? But the arms are supposed to still be a little bit more chaotic up here. Okay, so where's this hand? So we'll probably get this hand just still this way. And then swing it into this. Okay. Okay, and then transition wise, like let's get this hand to swing around this way. Okay, nice and broad, a lot of overlap this way. Okay, the head, body, see if we can get a bit more drag there. Okay, this arm maybe come down a little bit more towards the front, just so we can see it and transition around. Okay. All right, so I know like there's a lot of gimbal lock happening there, so let's see if that will fix it. Or the filter. Not really. Okay, it's still so wild that it doesn't even know how to compute it. Okay, so this I feel like this one should probably already be near its destination. So let's copy that. These guys back to here. Okay, and then back off on it, right? So like start to get it. So it starts to come around. Okay, this one. Okay, and then this guy will probably be a little bit further back this way. Okay, head forward. All right, see if I can get this a little bit more, because this feels like it's like around there, yeah. And then this one would be maybe a little bit more forward. And then back up. So I know like there's a ton of gimbal lock and stuff happening there, but I just want to see that the timing of it.
And I want to make this absolutely clear. Even if they do say Jehovah. And I want to make this absolutely clear. Even if they do say Jehovah. And I want to make this absolutely clear. Even if they do say Jehovah.
Okay, so this part, I really do want to try to get that to hit hard, you know, and then let this part be nice and snappy, right? So I'm going to try to get this part in here to be a little snappier. So this will be on twos. This will be on twos. This will be on twos. And then this part right here, we'll get that. So it'll be through this post. And then drag this a little bit further forward. Okay, and then this is too much bouncing around, so Jehovah. Cut that one. So I'm definitely going to be continuing with this one next block for sure, because it's such a fun shot, you know, that I really want to see this one through, because it's one of those things that you kind of go, okay, well, once I get like the facial on here, we'll start to get some facial poses in and get the lip sync done, and then really polish this up. So let me just, because I know we're a little bit over time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select on this, select body, and put the last part just in step mode, just because it's not really fully worked out. And then we'll see how it feels.
And I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah. And I want to make this absolutely
okay. All right, so we'll see if I can just get that last pose here. We'll play it like just like to there, just so we can see that last key.
say Jehovah. And I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah. And I want to make this.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, so let's have a look at the whole thing real quick. We'll save it. You know, it's going nice and fast now. Okay, good. All right.
Now look.
So let's convert it. Okay, file, export with sound. Okay, G-poses, overwrite it. All right, good. All right, let's have a look. G-poses.
Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah. Now
Cool,
look,
all right,
no
great.
one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah. Now look,
Yeah, I think like
no
once I start to get into that, this little part right here, this will be fun, like, because there's a lot of little fast transition-y parts in here that we can really push, you know, and then really explode into this part, and then a nice fast transition to this one, you know. So this will be fun.
Make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah. Now
Great.
look,
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for staying with me for this block. And hopefully you guys got a lot out of the demos from this term, right? So let me bring myself back up here. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. I certainly enjoyed it, and it's always like bittersweet to finish off a block, you know, and look forward to the next one. And so I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas and happy holidays and all the rest of it. And we'll see you in January. All right. All right, you guys, have a fantastic Christmas and happy holidays, and we'll see you next block. All right. Take care, guys. All the best. Bye.